WWE's version of the Hall of Fame in many ways has become the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. There are other notable ones, of course, but given WWE's popularity and reach, there's always a lot of eyes on who goes in each and every year. That's the correct way to treat it as well. When certain omissions take place or you realise specific wrestlers aren't in, especially when Donald Trump is, questions have to be asked. We never usually get answers, but at least we tried our best. That's all you can ever do. So, with the 2017 Hall of Fame coming up, and two very strong rumours suggesting that DDP and Rick Rude will be inducted, which they should, and which is why they're not in this list, I'm Simon from WhatCulture, and this is the 10 wrestlers who must be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame 2017. Number 10, the Warrior Award. We don't start with a wrestler, but a concept instead. When the Ultimate Warrior said the Hall of Fame needed an award that recognised WWE employees who worked behind the scenes yet never received much credit, I think most of us nodded our head in agreement. That made perfect sense. Today, this honour does exist, but it was handled a little differently by Vince and friends as they used it to focus on members of society with incredible and heartbreaking tales to tell. I don't care who you are, if you didn't well up even a little bit when Connor was inducted a few years ago, well man, I don't even know what to tell you. With that said, it would be nice if in 2017 the original spirit of the award was embraced for a year and a lighting guy or faceless director got the nod. It would be good to see them getting some recognition. They've worked hard for a lot of years. Number 9, Toots Mondt. WWE always likes to acknowledge a true great who helped build pro wrestling. In 2017, there's only one name for that position, Toots Mondt. Now, you probably don't know who that is, but that's where WhatCulture has you covered, as the one and only Adam Blompier did a video on Mondt which you can watch right now. There's a lovely link in the description. Click it, feel good. But, in short, Toots was a wrestler and promoter who pretty much revolutionized the industry in the 1920s, where he co-promoted the Worldwide Wrestling Federation. He had a hand in the careers of Bruno Sammartino, Stu Hart and Cowboy Bill Watts, and was Vince McMahon Sr.'s right-hand man when the WWF broke away from the NWA to start the process of what we all know today, which means he deserves all our thanks and an induction into the Hall of Fame. Number 8, Andy Kaufman. Filling in for 2017's Celebrity Wing, Andy Kaufman is more than suited for such a role. How on earth he's not in already is crazy, considering his feud with Jerry Lawler is considered an iconic one. On top of that, this was a genuinely famous actor who embraced pro wrestling in the right way. Didn't make fun of it or turn his nose up at it. He loved and respected the industry and wanted nothing more than to be a despised heel who was reviled by the crowd. He didn't care about winning, there was no ego, just a pure love for sports entertainment. Who better to induct him as well than the King, especially as he was recently removed from TV. Gives him something to do. Number 7, Genichiro Tenryu. While more of a legend in Japan than he was on Western shores, Tenryu was an absolute hero when it came to pro wrestling in general. Having incredible matches for almost 40 years, even his last match against Okada in New Japan was a revelation. Here was a man in his mid-60s holding his own against one of the best in the world. It was incredible. He was also able to get his foot in the WWE door, even though it was brief. Teaming with Kojo Katao to defeat Demolition at WrestleMania 7, he also appeared in both the 1993 and 1994 Royal Rumbles. He even got down to the final 5 in the latter. WWE usually likes to induct one foreign wrestler a year, and Tenryu would be perfect for 2017, especially as the one and only Ric Flair could do the honours. That's always a riot. Number 6, China. There's usually a pattern to who gets their spots in the Hall of Fame, which is why more often than not, one of these is reserved for a women's wrestler. We had Jackie last year, Medusa before that. You would think China deserves her place in the sun. There's a lot of controversy around it, sure, and probably an argument to be had both ways, but her work in adult film doesn't cast that big of a shadow over her pro wrestling career, which was an incredible one. Who made more of an impression during the Attitude Era? There's The Rock and Steve Austin, of course, but Chyna's name comes up pretty quickly after those guys when you're reliving the days of old. I understand if it doesn't happen, but it feels right given her untimely death in 2016. Triple H induction would be good too, but I wouldn't hold my breath there either. Number 5, Demolition. Now we move on to the tag team portion of the evening, and the most obvious choice is surely Demolition. It's a huge shame that it's never gonna happen because some members are currently involved in a lawsuit against the WWE, which is a good reason not to do it, to be honest. But there are few teams as well remembered and loved as these guys. It all ties in as well because you can have the New Day induct them, a trio that just broke Demolition's tag team record. So you're pushing nostalgia and topicality together. Number 4, Kevin Sullivan. Next, it's the old-timer who wrestling fans are aware of, but a more casual watcher probably has no idea about. And don't pretend that's not a thing each year. because it definitely is. In 2017, Kevin Sullivan deserves that entry. Not only did the man have an awesome run in Florida in the 80s, but ever since he hung up his wrestling boots, he's been involved with nearly every aspect of pro wrestling, from managing to booking. He's one of those guys that opened doors for those who came afterwards, and people like that should always be a shoo-in for Hall of Fame positions. The real issue is that he never really worked for WWE, and worse still, is currently a producer for TNA, so that stops it in its tracks right there. But still, it should happen. He's worthy of it. And Mike Rotunda can induct him, aka IRS. Number 3, Davey Boy Smith. It's sad that a Hall of Fame spot is usually reserved for those who have passed on, mostly because it's sad that people die. While China would obviously fit into this category too, I would love to see the British Bulldog finally get his due. A mainstay of the WWE in the 90s, it's a name that everyone remembers, and he had a legendary career to top it all off. Given how the UK scene is currently experiencing a boom period, and that the WWE itself is launching a UK tournament, what better way to cement all that than finally getting a Brit into the Hall of Fame? It's not like anyone would be surprised either. It's the British Bulldog. Should have been in years ago. Number 2, Vader. Because the Attitude Era was bigger than my head, WWE loves to give it a nod each and every year when the Hall of Fame rolls around. In 2016, that involved The Godfather. 2015, Rikishi. So, to keep traditions alive, 2017 is Vader time. And that means Vader should be inducted. While he doesn't technically fit into the period as he left shortly before it really took off, the tragic news about his health coupled with what he did achieve in the ring means some shifts should be made and the Mastodon should go into the Hall. All I ask is that he doesn't go on like he did when he inducted Stan Hansen. It was great and all, and super entertaining, but less is more, Vader. Less is more. Number 1, The Rock, which brings us to the headliner. This is obviously going to happen one day, but given WrestleMania probably won't come back to Miami anytime soon, this could be the perfect time to induct The Rock given it's in his home state. You already know he's going to be involved with the show itself somehow, and while he may not have a match, having his presence during the Hall of Fame ceremony would become national news. He's the biggest movie star in the world. Given it all started with pro wrestling, we should give him his due. Put the whole thing to bed, as long as he doesn't set fire to his name again. That was stupid. Know of any other people that should go into 2017's Hall of Fame? Let us know in the comments below, and then remember to like, share, and subscribe. You can even come tell me on Twitter at SimonMiller316. I'm Simon from WhatCulture, and if Demolition are going in, we should also induct Repo Man.